music selections.
Oh, it was very strange. A lot of comments. A lot of comments from the people at CBS Sports Radio when I was walking by. I said, Boomer has really run the gambit this morning with the very odd music. We have gone from...
Not odd. Well, it's my feel-good music. It's my go-to music to make me feel better. So when I get in front of the microphone, I don't bring a ton of negativity with me because I don't want to do that. So, a little Spice Girls, a little Terry Clark, a little Robert Palmer, Robin S., Slick Rick, and Tom Tom Club, and I'm ready to go. So I feel good right now. And I feel good because you have to process everything that's going on. You process the good when the good is going on, and you try not to get too far out in front of yourself, knowing that the realities of both of these sports, that, an injury away from complete disaster. And, unfortunately for the Rangers, they're going through it at the wrong time right now. They had been fortunate in the previous two series where they stayed relatively healthy and they got guys back from being hurt. And whether it be Barclay Goodrow or Tyler Mott, and now all of a sudden they're dealing with the loss of Ryan Strome and the loss last night of Filipino. Now, whether or not they'll play Thursday night, that's yet to be seen. You can't trust these coaches, by the way. And it's not their fault. I mean, Strome tried to work it out yesterday and just wasn't ready to go. I don't know really what happened with Hito. I don't know if it's a shoulder or if it's a concussion or what. They just say upper body injury. But he got smashed by Victor Hedman. And when I look at this particular series, the way that it's unfolded, and I told you before the Rangers were playing Tampa, after they swept the Florida Panthers, I told you, I said, this team is a real team. This team is big. They are physical. And they have top-end Hall of Fame-type offensive players. And there's one player in particular that's just completely dominating the Rangers the last two games, and his name is Andre Palat. And Andre Palat is on the top line. Steven Stamkos is his center. Kucherov is the other wing, and Palat is winning puck battles all over the place. And last night, he just basically took the puck away from Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin, who had the best seats in the house last night. I don't know how much he got paid to play last night, but he should give his money back because he was standing around not doing much.
What is going on with him? I mean, I know earlier on in the postseason you mentioned how maybe he's a guy who's playing through an injury and he's gutting something out and we don't know about it, and this happens all the time in hockey with guys. But, I mean, he has just not been himself. And you talked earlier about, the open ice and how he needs that, and the regular season is a different game, and how, maybe the postseason where things tighten up is not really conducive for what he's doing. But, I mean, my Lord, it's Eastern Conference Final, and he's been, if you were going to give him a grade, it would be in the C's at the very best.
Well, he's also not playing with the teammate that he has the most synchronicity with, and that would be Ryan Strome, because he was out last night. So Gerard Gallant trying to do something to get him going, try to put him with Mika, and then split up Mika and Kreider, and you're messing up all the lines, and then Hedl goes down, and then you got problems. You got guys moving all over the place, and you can tell when guys haven't played with each other, because when they throw the puck somewhere, the guy that they hadn't played with a lot of the time, all of a sudden is going the other way. And they're not seeing each other. They're not playing off of each other. And that's one of the great things that Kreider and Zibanejad have got going on. And I understand he was trying to ignite something last night, Gerard Gallant, and he's playing against a very formidable Tampa Bay Lightning team. There's no question about that. I just don't like splitting those guys up. But sometimes games are flat. You're trying to look at different matchups, and you're trying to get people away from other people on the other team, and you're trying to create maybe a different thought process for the other coach. There's a million variables that go into this, much like your golf game. But I will say, their top line is basically owning the Rangers in the last two games. And John Cooper made a change when he put Stamkos back into the middle and put them together with Palat and Kucherov. All of a sudden, they have dominated. They have dominated physically. They have dominated in open ice, and they have just completely outplayed the Rangers' top players in these last two games. So the Rangers have got to tighten things up. They have to be better in front of their net. I thought they did a better job of blocking some pucks last night, just not enough. And they weren't physical enough, and they got hammered. So now you come home. We've been in this situation with Carolina, and you got to protect your home ice. You got to feed off the energy of the Garden. The Garden has been an amazing place. The fans have been amazing. The players have responded to it. And now you're going to have
8 out of 9 there in the postseason.
Right, and look, you got to do it again, and you got to hope that you have a full complement of your roster out there so everybody can get back to where they're playing normally. The other thing that happened last night, look, we had one power play. We ended up scoring on it. We had the extra skater on the ice to make it a 6-on-4. There was a high stick right in front of the Tampa Bay net, and it hit Mika right in the face. And ESPN didn't show the highlight. The referees didn't call the play. And I know there's missed calls on every side, but, that's a play in the middle of the game that could change the game because of the Rangers' power play and how lethal it has been. And ESPN didn't even talk about it. They didn't even show it. And again, the ESPN coverage. And again, I'm not going back to the announcers. I'm not talking about them. I think Ray Ferraro knows more hockey than I'll ever know. And he's bright and he's smart. And he, for a couple times last night, he made a few mistakes. He was talking about the Lightning when he was using the name Rangers, and he got a little confused. But it's just the way that the game is shot. And the lack of replays on important plays and the lack of explanations and going to commercial at the wrong time. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they have a basketball director directing these games. I don't know if they understand what a goddamn replay is when you need one. And I don't know why I can see at home Mika get hit right in the face with the stick right in front of the net of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And there was not a call. So
you better buckle up for this because the next 3 games are going to be on ESPN, and then if the Rangers advance, it's going to be the same thing because it's an ESPN ABC thing. So
at the end of the day, Gerard Gallant said what he should say, and that is my team's got to play harder. They got to be more competitive.
This was a combination of Tampa Bay being great and the Rangers not playing great. I mean, this was not
the other
just
team makes you.
Yeah,
not
I know,
great.
but I just felt just watching it that the Rangers being the aggressor like they were in the first 2 periods was just not happening for whatever reason.
I'll tell you one thing. To me, all right, so the end of game 2, things shifted. The Rangers then had a 2-0 lead in game 3 in the second period and then lost that 2-0 lead. And the beginning of the third period in game 3 is where I felt like Tampa started to really step on the pedal, and you could see it. And then, ultimately you're hanging on by a thread, and then you give up the final goal to Andre Palat less than a minute to go in the game. That's a crushing loss. And, this team has always been resilient the whole year. I don't want to say that they haven't been. They have. They're here. They're in the Final Four, which is amazing. And this is a series. This is, Tampa Bay is not going away. And, they have Hall of Fame players. And their goalie, if you're not going to test him, if you're going to get 25 shots on him and they're all going to be from the outside and nobody's going to be clapping one-timers and snapping pucks left and right and getting the puck in front and fighting for it in front, you're just not going to beat them. And I think the Rangers realize that. I think most of us as hockey fans realize that. So, you got to protect home ice. This is why you have home ice advantage. And you got to do what Carolina couldn't do to you. And that is win on your home ice. And maybe you steal one in game 6 if you can win game 5. So
it's just so frustrating because you felt like you had them on the ropes in game 3. I mean, that's the thing that's so annoying about it.
That's what a series is.
I know. And especially with a team that's not going to go down easily and a team that's a back-to-back champion. I mean, I understand, but I mean, when you have those opportunities against teams like that, you feel like when you let that slip away, then maybe that's it. But
one power play, and then of course last night, with Ryan Strome out, they bring Kevin Rooney in. I think they bring Kevin Rooney in. He's not really, I don't believe he's a real natural center, but I think they bring him in because he's also a penalty killer as opposed to Brodzinski or Dryden Hunt. He'll be out there for penalty kills and stuff like that. He's been around for a while. And of course, the fourth line on the ice ends up giving up the first goal. And it was to me, it was Justin Braun. Look, Justin, when an opposing defender is coming down and he is susceptible to a shoulder to the chest, when he has the puck, you got to deliver the hit. You just got to deliver the hit. Yeah, Ryan Reeves let Bogosian go around him for the first goal, but Justin Braun is right there. He's got to put his shoulder right in the chest of the opposing player, and he didn't. He tried to stick check. The puck got around, got on Shesterkin. Then there's a dopey rebound, and then their fourth liner, Pat Maroon, ends up scoring a goal. I mean, that's crushing. That should never happen. And unfortunately, Rooney was on the ice for that. They try to point out him not making a play, but to me, when I look at that play, I look at Justin Braun needs to put his shoulder right in the chest of Zach Bogosian and take him down and play the body, don't play the puck. That's how I would look at it. So I would just say, Tampa's defense has tightened up. They're making it difficult, as you heard Mark Messier say in between periods last night, getting through the neutral zone. That's the whole thing. and the Rangers have got to play faster.
Like the 1995 New Jersey Devils and Jacques Lemaire getting through the neutral zone.
Is a pain in the ass.
Yes, the trap.
Right, and the big thing about they're playing, it looks like they're playing a 2-2-1 or 1-2-2. It looks like, but I would say that they're big, they're strong, they're smart, and they're physical, and they got a great world-class goalie who has shown that the last 2 games.
Man, this is where these 2 teams we have talked about.
They are who we thought they were.
Yeah, that's right.
They are.
We let them off the hook in Game 3. Damn it. R.I.P. Denny Green, one of the greats of all time, one of my favorites. This is where we're really testing the mettle of these 2 teams we have been lauding for months now in the Rangers and the Mets with the injuries. This is where we're testing
adversity.
The mettle is getting tested.
The Rangers,
the uphill battle.
The Rangers are in the Final Four.
Yeah.
The Mets still have 2/3 of the season.
No, but still, but last night, the reason why I tie the 2 together is last night, there injuries for both. Strome didn't play, and then you lost Hedl, and then you saw Alonso and Marte go down. It's like this sucks.
It does suck, but it's part of it.
It's not good.
The good news is that the initial X-rays on Pete Alonso are negative. Marte.
But why does he have to? You know what I don't like about it is the fact that then there's going to be more tests. It was almost like they didn't trust the X-ray machine out there in San Diego.
The amazing thing, Corey Perry got hit in the wrist by a 95-mile-an-hour slap shot too.
Yeah,
he went to the room and then came back. Mm-hmm. And by the way, he's a pain in the ass. Somebody has got to take Corey Perry, and somebody's got to hit him. He's 37 years old and he's running around with a license to just absolutely abuse Igor Shesterkin. So somebody needs to take him too and go after him. And look, they know all this. I'm just a fan watching it, and I'm totally engrossed in it to the point where I'm spending money to make sure that I don't miss a drop puck. It's just like you have no idea. The things I go through to make sure that I don't miss any.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I told you I had to give a speech in Hartford last night.
Right.
I had to get up there and get back before the game started.
Sure.
And the fine folks at United Healthcare up there at Hartford understood my plight and understood what I do for a living. Mm-hmm. And they were very kind to make sure that I could get in and out. And thank you, yes. I was able to get in and out, and I was able to get back for this game last night. It was unbelievable.
Who picked up the tab for that? Was it the people that you were doing the speech for, or you yourself?
I'm not really sure yet. I got to figure that one out. But at the end of the day, I didn't care, man. I didn't care.
It didn't matter. You had to get back home.
I needed the weather to be right, and I needed to get up and get back and be where I needed to be.
Well, what time did you put yourself in front of the TV at your home?
About 8:12. And they were singing the national anthem, I believe.
Oh, it's perfect.
It was.
Couldn't have worked out any better for you.
It was.
But then the result did not.
Yeah, but I know. But the thing is that if you're a fan of your team in a 7-game series, and I don't care what sport it is, baseball, basketball, or football. Not football, baseball, basketball, or hockey. It's amazing. These are the emotions that we all deal with. I was thinking here are the Florida Panthers. They're the President's Trophy winner, meaning they have more points than anybody else in the NHL, and they get swept by Tampa Bay 4-0. And Tampa Bay was just hanging on to make the playoffs. It's like they were disinterested, and they had a lot of injuries.
Well, that's what happens.
But then when the games get real, and this is why, as a Ranger fan, I just have a feeling this thing's going 7, and we're going to end up playing 21 games, the maximum amount of games that we could play in 3 series, and go into maybe a Stanley Cup against a team that's only played 14 games.
Yeah. Well,
so one less series. If in fact
good
that is
problem
the case.
to have, right?
It would be a good problem to have, and we'll worry about that problem if we get there.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the healthy respect that I had for the Lightning prior to them playing the Rangers showed itself the last 2 games. We saw it, and now we know what we're dealing with, and it's going to take a yeoman's effort to beat them, and you're going to need all your bodies healthy and on the ice to be able to do that.
All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.